Welcome, everybody. We're going to learn how to build a bunkie tonight. But first, I'm going to play a song while everyone gets in the chat. If you're here, let me know about it. She's gotta believe in something. God is better than nothing. And the clock on the wall has been stuck here through the days and days. She thinks that happiness is a mouth that sits on her doorway. Yeah. But outside it stopped raining, and heaven she says, baby, it's 3 a.m. I must be lonely. Well, heaven she says, baby, I can't help but be scared. Oh, something's gonna wash away, I believe it. That life isn't made up of all that she used to. In a color portrait wall, she believes that she's got it all wrong. She swears the moon don't hang quite as high as it used to. She only sleeps when it's raining. And her voice is straining. She says, baby, it's 3 a.m. I must be lonely. Well, heaven, she says, baby, I can't help but be scared at all. Something's gonna wash away, I believe it. Well, in case you haven't heard, we are giving a bunkie away in a very short period of time. Just basically a week or two. We'll be announcing the winner. And today we're doing a live stream to explain how to build one of these crazy bunkies. So we're going to have cute questions, answers. Well, hopefully answers, but definitely questions. We're going to have music. We're going to have fun. We're going to have interviews. It's going to be a great evening. Stick around if you're with me for the evening. I'll be right back in just a few short minutes. Hi, I'm David Fraser, founder of Bunky Life. We're in the building industry, but what we're famous for are small log cabin kits called bunkies that can be easily built in a weekend without needing any special skills, tools, or second mortgages. Ultimately, we help our clients create extra space for meaningful connection. Yes, we help our clients get a cool bunkie, but if you think it's just about the bunkie, you've already missed the point. Really, what this is about is creating the space and time for more meaningful connection. Having a bunkie is just part of that journey.
Mary just mentioned Bunky Life family, and I really feel like something like this and just the whole experience is we did more than just buy a bunkie.
It's not just about the space, but what happens in the space, how it enables more connection. It allows you to spend that quality time with friends and family. It allows you to be there for each other in both senses of the phrase.
Merry Christmas!
Our family realized this when we were going through a tough time. We needed our family beside us. We had created that extra space with our own bunkie in our own backyard, and we realized how truly important it is to have the whole family together. Bunky Life is the market leader in educational videos and content as we pioneer this growing industry. Our goal is to be the go-to source for fun, friendly, and helpful advice for families, whether they buy from us or not. Our core offering is an easy to build or built for you Bunky kit. This helps our clients quickly and easily create extra space without any building experience. We're proudly a Canadian-made family business right here in Ontario. Our Bunky is often the difference between that friend or family member coming to visit or not, being there for each other or not. The reason we do this is we believe family comes first. And when it comes to being there for each other, there are no do-overs. That's one of the reasons we've partnered with Ronald McDonald House Charities in their goal of keeping families close. Because ultimately, we want to help build a world where families everywhere have a place to unite, unwind, and unplug. We've committed to donating a night's stay at a Ronald McDonald House for every Bunky we sell. Hey guys, I brought you this huge novelty check.
Oh,
Check it out.
Oh my gosh.
There you go.
David, this is incredible.
And as of the end of 2023, our team and our Bunky Life community have been proud to donate close to $200,000. I get up every morning excited to help families create extra space for a meaningful connection. Thanks so much for listening, and I can't wait to hear from you. All right, well, it's going to be a great evening. I'm going to quickly run through what we're going to chat about tonight. So, first of all, I hope you all feel welcome, and thanks for all the great comments. I was reading through them as the video was playing there. People from all over the place. We got Springfield, Missouri, Jennifer. We got North Carolina, Sherry. Awesome. Idaho. Welcome, Roy. Daytona Beach is the Ontario of the South. I like that. That makes sense to me, Robert. Okay. Carolina Beach, North Carolina. Awesome. So, yeah, welcome everyone, one and all. As you know, we are doing our first ever USA only contest. It's all across the United States of America. We've done a bunch of Canadian ones in the past. We've done some that were like Michigan and Ontario, that kind of thing. But this one is just for the Americans, okay? So no hard feelings, Canadians. We'll be back at you, but it's just for the Americans. Everyone south of the border / Alaska and Hawaii. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about, I'm going to give a little teaser about their end of summer sale, which is going to happen as soon as the Bunky contest closes. And then we're going to talk about how to build Bunky. So I've got a pretty cool presentation prepared for you. We're going to go foundation, how to build, how to do the roof, how to do the stain, all the questions you might have, but we're too scared to ask. You can ask them tonight. Then we'll take actual questions and answers through the live chat. And if you have anything that you want to yell or type in, you can do so after I finish the little how to build a Bunky. It shouldn't take that long. So we got lots of folks tuning in from North Carolina and Colorado and all over the place. Very cool. Indiana. So cool. The Northwest Florida Panhandle. Fantastic. All right. So Minnesota, we got a lot of people from all over the nation. Very, very excited to be here. So let me just give you a little teaser here. But before I do, I want to explain where we're at in the cycle of the contest. So if you could share this, that'll give you extra chances to win. And then you're going to go to the scoreboard and click the top purple button. That's what we're going to do. So share. And this is the live stream setup right now. So right now we are on Thursday the 14th, how to build. We're live. Or maybe you're watching a recording later, but if, I'm recording it live. This Sunday evening, we're going to talk about what it's like to be a Bunky lifer. What does that actually mean? What is it? What's the experience like? So that's our Sunday evening live stream. And then more cool things happen. So we're going to take, the next week I'm traveling, but we'll be back Monday so Monday the 25th, for a very special live stream on why we do this. If you can only tune into one live stream, that would be the one. Definitely check that one out. And then, of course, we'll be closing the contest and announcing the winner on Wednesday, the 27th of August. So it's coming up quick. And I've been kind of teasing the idea of this end of summer sale. Okay, so that's going to kick off as soon as the contest closes. But since you're here live, you might get a chance to get ahead of that. So normally we kind of close the contest and do a quick little sale. But since you're here live, stick with me and you might be able to get in a little early on that if you're at all interested. So that's kind of the next little bit. We're doing the end of summer sale. So here's the deal. It's not officially open, but if you want to know the details, let's say you're watching these live streams, you're going, man, this could actually help our family. Man, it'd be great to have a spot where we can have everyone all together it'd be awesome. A really cool experience to build this together. That'd be awesome too. If that's what you're at all thinking, what I might suggest is check out, or just shoot me an email and I can give you advanced details. This is not for everybody, but for those of you who are semi-serious or thinking about it, maybe a few questions, email me with the subject sale and I will send you the details. And if you're on Facebook, let me just share another cool thing. If it's only work for people that are watching live on Facebook. But if you are a Facebook user, if you comment the word sale into the chat for Facebook users only, I should automatically start messaging you the details, or at least so let me know if that works for you. But once again, only do that if you're actually interested in potentially buying a Bunky, but you have questions. If you're like, I'm not going to buy one, I just want to win one, that's fine. But don't waste your time or our time. But if you're not, okay, thank you, Roy. I saw you commented sale. So Roy, let us know if it does message you. Okay, people are writing it in. Very cool. Thank you, everybody. That is cool. Okay. Now, like I said, it only work for Facebook users. If you're watching on like YouTube or something, then you'll have to just email me. Okay. But that's the deal. And see, Robert, good example. You're on YouTube and it will probably not message you. In fact, I know it won't. So in your case, if you're not on Facebook, just email me. Okay, cool. Subject line sale. Okay. I'm not going to do a hard pitch or anything tonight, so or any night, but especially not tonight. Just wanted to mention that. Okay, so that's for anybody who's thinking maybe we're going to do a Bunky this year or next year. Then I would suggest email me or comment sale if you're on Facebook only. Okay. Let's get into the build thing. A lot of people, you look at all the stories on Facebook or Instagram, or you watch some of the videos and you go, man, that looks so fun. I wish I could do that, but I'm not handy. Can I really do this myself? That's what this next video is all for. So check this out. This is some interviews with Michiganders. And how did the build process go once you had the foundations done to the actual cottage? How did that process go?
I had my father help me, and my father's 84.
Wow.
So it was he and I, and we had all the walls up in like 6 hours.
The only challenging part for me was that I was too stubborn to ask for help for the beams. I tried to lift them myself, but just couldn't do it. But once I got to help with the beams, like with our kids here, it only took us about 15 minutes to get the 6 beams into place.
You can easily do it. It's not a strenuous process. I would say make sure you prepare with the base, and you want to make sure you got a good base for your conditions. No, but yeah, you can do it. It's not an issue.
It's just getting started. Just get that foundation done, get that first platform level and square, and then really anybody can do it with very limited ability. If you're not a carpenter or not a handyman kind of guy, a couple of people can do it easily.
I tell people my 10-year-old grandchild could easily be the superintendent and read the drawings and tell adults what to do. It's as simple as Lego.
It works. You follow the instructions, the product works. I've got the photographs and the evidence to help demonstrate that. I mean, I'm a biochemist. I am not a construction person. But in the rudimentary basics, if you can hold a drill and point a screw, you can build one of these.
We all do our own stuff. My grandfather was a contractor, so my uncle was in the construction business for a long time. They were all very impressed with, how quick it went together and how easy it went together. And I can't say enough of how easy that project was to build it yourself and stick build it. And if you factor in the time cutting and doing all that, I mean, it's great value.
We tell people that it's like easier than building IKEA furniture.
Oh yeah, it is, yeah.
The instructions are all there. You can see it on paper. You can see it on video. We didn't need to call you for anything, but that's an option as well if you need that.
You break it down to the basics. There is nothing complicated. That's the bottom line. It's simple. It's not a cooking recipe. It's going back to your childhood and making something out of Lego.
Yep.
And then you screw the Lego pieces together.
I definitely recommend Bunky Life to anybody interested in building this sort of building, as a complement to what they already have. It was a great process, great experience. We're very happy.
So that is some people that are but there's more than just Michiganders in that video. There's some Ontario people too. Just want to comment on. Okay, so let's do the quick little presentation on what it's like to build a bunkie. I'm going to take you all the way through the whole process here. Let me just get you maximized. Okay. Everyone can see my screen okay? I might do full screen here. Maybe not. Okay, I'll see what I can do. Okay. So this is how to build a bunkie. Extra space for meaningful connection. Can I do full screen mode? Okay, I'm not going to do full screen mode. Okay. So, as I said earlier, seriously, can we really do this ourselves? Now, we get these type of photos probably once a week or every couple days from people. You'll notice it's a full generational experience here. Mom, dad, grandpa, grandkids, the whole 9 yards. And people say, can I really do it though? And let me just share this story. This is something we recently shared. This is our good friend from Maine. This is Peter.
So Peter, for all the viewers out there that are wondering, can I build this? What would you tell them?
Yeah, if I can build it, you can build it. I'm building this by myself. I'm 63 years old, and it's been going together really smoothly, just like Lincoln logs. Very simple build. I think anybody can do it.
All right, so let's go into the nitty gritty of how do you do it? How can you do it yourself? Okay, so let's talk about, before you begin, what tools do you need to make it happen? All right, let's do it. Okay, this is a quick little video on what tools you need. So basically it's measuring tape, hammer, sledger, this is me in a younger life. All right, next I'd like to talk about the tools that you need to finish a bunkie job. Now, first thing you want is a measuring tape. That's especially going to be handy when you get started. So the old classic measuring tape, just to get square, get everything measured. I mean, the boards come pre-cut and pre-measured for you, but a measuring tape is nice to get everything square when you first start. So measuring tape. Secondly, you'll definitely need a hammer. This is just the standard hammer. That'll come in handy if you're gonna be nailing anything, but also just for pounding the blocks down. A bigger sledgehammer, something like this, it's a little bit heavier, is really nice to hammer the logs down even more effectively. Another thing you're definitely going to need is a level. The longer the better. This is my super level that I bring to all my job sites. Super level. It's like taller than me. Well, almost taller than me. And that's great. If you don't have something that big, that's okay. You can get by with something a little more standard like this. And that'll help get your foundation all level, so when the bunkie arrives, it's ready to go. And there's a whole video I did on the actual foundation, so check that out too. All right, another thing you're gonna wanna have is a drill. This is my DeWalt cordless battery-powered drill. Have an extra battery if you have one of those. And if you decide to screw most of your stuff, like for example, the roof boards or whatever, then a drill is really nice to have. And some people even screw their roof and their floorboards together, and you can use a drill like this as well. If you're more of an advanced user, what I do at my build sites is I actually bring a small compressor and a nail gun, such as this. It's just boom, 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 and you can install your floorboards and your deck boards really quickly. It's a fast way to do it. But you can also hammer it with just your classic hammer. It just might take a little longer. If you have lots of labor, that's not the end of the world. So your classic hammer and a few nails. We'll also put the deck boards in, so you don't really need the advanced tools. Now, one more thing that you can never have enough of is other people to help you. For sure, you need at least one buddy. It's not a one-man job, it's a two-person job. But the other thing you definitely need a lot of, if you could, is these little step ladders. Just to get up here, and get to a bunkie. I'm not actually in a bunkie, I'm in another build site, but even a small step ladder such as this right here will come in handy. Just 3 steps, just to get higher, because as the logs get higher, you're gonna not be able to reach it and get leverage. So a bunch of ladders like this, or even taller, are the best. Ideally, if you can have a ladder on all 4 corners, if you can have 4 ladders, knock on some neighbors' doors, meet your neighbors, borrow their ladders, return them. That's a great way to get the bunkie life experience going. So lots of ladders and all those other tools. You might need a saw. Let me just show you a saw. You don't need to cut the boards, but sometimes when you're doing the trim, this is nice to have, a small saw, something like that. just to finish off the trip. But that's kind of, a very small, you only need this guy for like a few cuts. And that's about it. So these are tools you may already have or can borrow from the father-in-law in your life. And that's pretty much all you need to build the Bunky. And if you really hustle, you could probably get it up in 1 or 2 days. If you have enough help and you have enough ladders. You can never have enough ladders. Hope that's helpful. David from Bunky Life, signing off.
Onus McCarthy asks, is this live? Yes, Onus McCarthy, this is live. Okay, let's keep moving. Okay, so let's go to the next scene. This is a story that someone sent in of the family building it together. They talked about how they had to carry the Bunky up a creek and all the cool things like that. So this is a successful family job somewhere around BC, Squamish area, and they put on a metal roof themselves. They did it all, and they hauled it deep into the woods. So always a good story. Okay, let us come on and keep on moving. So first part of course, the foundation is make sure you have a flat level area and then build your foundation. And we have a motto at Bunky Life, which is do it right, do it once. So here's kind of your options. Okay, there's more than one way to do your foundation. A lot of people think you have to do a concrete pad, which is the most expensive option, and that will work. But you don't necessarily need to do a concrete pad. We're going to talk about sonotubes as well, also known as helical piles. Sorry, no, sonotubes are, I forget what else they're known as, but we call them sonotubes in Canada. Basically, they're cylinders of concrete. Or another option is just gravel, blocks, and wood, which is what I've done at most of my bunkies at my house. I'd say probably 65 to 75% of clients do it that way. And then we have something called screw piles, also known as helical piles or earth screws. So let's talk about the most expensive option first, concrete pad. The upsides of a concrete pad, very solid, unlikely to shift. Downsides are it can still crack. It's the most costly option. It's very labor intensive, takes a day or more to actually cure and harden up. And it's tougher to attach into because you have to ultimately anchor your Bunky into something. So you have to screw into the concrete. So I don't generally recommend them unless it's very specific circumstances or if you're like a concrete guy or girl. So that's one option though. This is another option. We call them, sonotubes here in Canada, concrete pillars. So you can see here, I don't know if you can see my cursor okay, but there's that little chunk of concrete that's actually all the way deep into the ground, and there's concrete cylinders, sonotubes all the way back to on the back of the Bunky. There's probably, if you count the ones in the front, there's probably like eight or 10. And so what you do is you dig down, you pour concrete into this like what is like a big cylinder, almost like a toilet paper tube, but it's a big one. And then the concrete cures, and then you can put the Bunky on top of that. And the upside of that is it's very solid. And if you're below your area of frost line, if you're in a northern state, if you're below the frost line, then it's never going to shift. It's medium expensive. It's cheaper than a concrete pad usually. And if you have a rock substrate, if you're actually going to hit the rock, you can actually tie into the rock, which is a nice upside for stability. The downside is it is also labor intensive. So I recommend it if you've got the budget or the knowledge. So if you can pay someone to do it, awesome. Or if you've done it yourself or have a friend that can help you, then you can do it yourself. And this is another option. This is what I've done with all my Bunkies pretty much. This is the gravel. Can you guys see that? Okay, gravel. Then put down some type of blocks, or in this case, I think they're like patio stones. And then build a little wood frame on top. So upsides of that, cheap, easy, fast. The downside is because if you're in an area that freezes, the Bunky could shift if the ground heaves. What I've found though in my experience is it doesn't happen that frequently. I've never had anything move on my property. It's been 8 or 9 years now. No, almost 10 years now. So as long as your area is well drained and it's relatively stable, this is a great solution for most people, and most people can do this themselves. Another option I'm not as familiar with is called screw piles, earth screws, helical piles. There's lots of different names. I don't know as much about these, but what they are is basically large screws that dig into the earth and go down beneath the frost line if you're in a freezing state. And the only downside is if you are in a rocky area, if you're going to hit rocks, it may or may not work. So those are your kind of options on foundation. So if you finish your foundation, congratulations. The foundation is at least 40% of the work and probably 95% of the unfun work. So if you got that done, it's all smooth sailing from there. So once you have your flat level foundation, let's talk about starting your build. This is the very first step you want to do once you got your foundation here, is you want to measure your first two pieces and make sure they are super, super level and super, super square. And this is how you do it. Take a measuring tape, measure the diagonal of your two corners and nudge it into place before you start screwing anything down. So in this case, they've got a block foundation with some wood, and they are now measuring the corner. And then you're going to notice they're going to, these are one of the first builders of bunkies ever. You're going to take the next diagonal, and you want to get the exact same measurement. If both diagonals are the same, you have a square, a perfect square. You have 4 right angles, which is what you want. All right. That is how you do that. And then it really flies. This is when you start installing the logs. This is where it gets fun. Once you have your 4 corners in and they're screwed down and they're not moving, you can just start pounding your blocks in, and then you're going to screw your corners as you go. And you see everything assembles like a big set of Lincoln logs. And you really can't do it wrong, which is the exciting part. You notice they're not pounding on the actual blocks themselves. They're pounding on a block that's on top of the block. That's just to prevent damage. So we call those the pounding blocks. And there's a number of those included in your kit. Okay, that's the concept. And then you might be wondering, well, what about windows and doors? How do they work? Well, we've thought of that too. That's on the next slide. So this is how you install windows and doors. My good friend Dave putting in a window. You'll notice there's a pre-cut hole there as you assemble the wall, and the window slides in just like that. And the other windows are going to go in just the exact same way. And similarly, the door does the exact same thing. All right, and then the next step, of course, is the roof and the floor. This is how this happens. Let me show you that too. So they're all tongue and groove, similar like a hardwood floor, but just in spruce. And so the roof boards are going to go in like a tongue and groove system, and similarly, the floorboards go in like a tongue and groove system. So you're just going to put them in and nail them down, or screw them down. I'm noticing some great questions there in the chat. Tara Moffat's got great questions. Allison Dispo, we're going to get to all your questions for sure. I don't want to leave it hanging. I just want to make sure I'm getting through this properly. And then the final touch, of course, is things like roofing. This is me doing, I added a little insulation. This is my office, actually. So I added insulation, added a metal roof on top. And I can use it, I would say, all year round, but 3.95 seasons at my place here in Ontario. I can use this Bunky with a little bit of roof insulation. So there's the insulation on top. I strapped it out, and then we added metal and finished it off. And then you've got, you can stain your Bunky. This is us changing what was my Airbnb into an office. So we restained it after about, I think, 4 or 5 years. That's a company we like called Sanson. They make a great stain. And I use a sprayer. So that was cool. It was a fun day. That was the renovation we did. So I built the Bunky for about 4 or 5 years as an Airbnb, and then changed it into my office, which is me. That's me doing that there. And Michael from Stanton actually came and showed us how to properly apply it. So that's if you want to use a brush. Staining takes a while, but it's fun. And you can get your kids to do it for you. And then, of course, all that's left to do is enjoy. You've got your roof on, you got your Bunky stained up, it's sealed up, and you can decorate it to your heart's content. That's where people get really excited and really creative with it. And then, you can be like, the McNeil clan. So they had grown from 5 to 9, and they had a grandbaby on the way. That means we need more sleeping options at our cottage. After comparing a few options, Bunky Life was the obvious choice. Great choice. And it's been a wonderful summer building project. So you can see they got all the generations involved. And I think that's a Haven Ultra, I believe, that they put together. So that's pretty much it. Let's go and make some memories. So that's how to build. And I saw some great questions. I don't want to leave anybody hanging, but let me get back to the comments here. Okay, so I was supposed to have an agenda, but what was next? Okay, how to build Q&A. Okay, perfect. I'm going to throw some questions up. If you got questions, throw them into the chat and let's get to them. Tara Moffat asks, what if you damage the boards while you're building it? Not a problem, Tara. We usually pack a couple extra of all the keyboards. So generally speaking, we haven't had a situation where people couldn't make it work. And we have build support Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So if you call us, we can usually coach you through it. And so far, everyone's been able to complete their Bunky with the pieces they had. And we're also very anal, as I might talk about today. I don't know. We're very anal about making sure there's no missing pieces, so that's pretty key too. We live in the USA, but we also have property in Nova Scotia. Can you ship one to Antigonish? Yes, we go to Nova Scotia every couple weeks. So we have a shipping center in Dartmouth, which is like Halifax area, and another one in Moncton. So yeah, we go to Nova Scotia. It's probably one of the most popular provinces we ship to. So I might pull up the client map just to show you, but anyways. Keep a lookout for our order. We'll be ordering soon. We're hoping to buy 10 acres soon in Kentucky. Awesome. I was just in Kentucky, Joey, last week, so that's great. How much does it cost for the gravel and the wood? Okay, so that's a foundation question. Probably in the ballpark of $500 to $1,000. It depends on what you buy, obviously. But I just buy little bags of gravel, and then you probably want to add some type of deck block or a patio stone to that calculation. But that's the cheapest way. It's definitely under $1,000. What circumference for the pillars and tubes? That's a good question. About that big. Depends on the actual Bunky and what it calls for. All the Bunkies come with 3 or 4 different foundation plans. So refer to that for sure. Tough blocks. We've used those before too. Those are like they call them deck blocks, like the forced intersecting blocks. I think those would work if we're referring to the same thing, Steve. We're considering this as a potential Airbnb. Could I completely embrace tiny home living with it though? Okay. As a potential Airbnb, we're going to actually talk about, let me skip ahead to that. But next Monday, we're going to talk about how to earn income from Bunkies. So check that out. That's going to be a cool live stream. Has anyone ever placed a Bunky over a storm shelter? So like a bunker on top of a bunker? A Bunky on a bunker? Not that I know of, but that may have happened. We have our gravel pad done and we're saving for a Bunky. Awesome. Okay, good to know it's the right setup. Fantastic. Does the Bunky pick come with the wood for the foundation? It's kind of made to go, so it's made to go on the foundation. So it depends what you build. There are pressure treated floor sleepers included in the kit, Sarah. But if you're building it on, say, like a deck of some sort, you'll need to have the wood for the deck. If you're building on a concrete pad, the Bunky kit can go right on top of the concrete pad. So it depends what you do. If you have questions, you just email me. I can sort that out. But generally speaking, you need to build something flat and level, and the Bunky kit's going to go on top of that. I like the idea of it being raised off the ground. Yes, a lot of people are using sonotubes or decking to bring it up. It's the perfect here in the Hocking Hills, Ohio. Yeah, everybody that's done the Airbnb thing has done quite well. I can say that. I've done it myself as well. I never put it a heated floor. I don't. Maybe. So you'd have to kind of like make sure the heating of the floor goes into the wood well. So the floor goes in after. You could put the floor in while you're building it or after you're done building it. It's up to you. It fits inside the walls. Here's a great question. How do you keep the moisture from the ground causing any moisture inside the building? Is there any recommendations how to eliminate that as an issue? So it's a log cabin. It depends on how sealed up you want to make it. But generally speaking, it's not going to be airtight. It's wind tight. Like you don't feel the wind inside a Bunky. But as long as the Bunky can kind of breathe, It's not the end of the world. And if you need to, you can add like a little dehumidifier, or I use those little damp traps in the spring, especially here in Ontario. So it depends on your climate. You might be fine with nothing, but the little damp traps are like $5 on Amazon or something. They kind of capture that spring moisture, but generally speaking, as long as the moisture is balancing and you have a little bit of breathability, I don't think you'll have moisture issues inside, like no mold issues, that type of thing. Oh, here's a good comment. So we had a contractor quote $3,000 to do the gravel for us, and then our neighbor lent us a truck to get gravel was $600. Yeah, there's a big difference in pricing. So you want to same thing with like any of those things. Sometimes people quote crazy amounts of money just to do Bunky Life roofs, and sometimes it's way cheaper. But it's basically an afternoon of work. Did you put any glue in before you slide the windows? No, we do recommend you could seal or caulk the corners, or like around the windows, but you don't need to put any glue. Can we add additional windows? Yes, within reason. You can't add 1,000 windows, but you can add, 1 window per wall kind of thing. Skylight option available? Glenn asks. We don't provide that ourselves, but I have seen people do it. Yes. Oh, Sarah asks, how do you add insulation on the flat wall? So the roof and the floor, very easy to add insulation to. I think I showed that briefly on that one video. The walls are tricky. It's more of a carpentry job. So what some people have done, and it has been done successfully. So some people have done is added almost like an outer wall. So they will insulate the outer wall and then add siding. That's one way to do it. Some people have done it on the inside, but then you lose internal floor space. So not as fun. Generally speaking, if you can insulate the floor and the roof really well, in a lot of places in America especially, that will get you up to 4 seasons fine. So I would try that for your first season of use, and then if you need to do the wall, you can do it, but it's a project. But 99 times out of 100 people say, oh, it's actually fine. I just added a good heater, or I added a good air conditioner if I was in the south, and that worked out fine. Does the roof come with the kit? The metal does not come with the kit, and neither does the insulation. The kit stops at the wooden deck boards that I showed you guys. So the tongue and groove deck boards. That's where the Bunky Life kit stops. And then if you want to add shingles or metal, we'll help you with that ordering process. We've got a great PDF of exactly what to print off and give to your local supplier. And it usually tends to be cheaper to buy that stuff local to you. We used to ship metal roofs around, and we weren't adding any value. I'm interested in the wind rating for walls without studs. So we do have, we're in the process of getting hurricane ratings right now, but we don't have official ratings yet. Although lots of bunkies have survived hurricanes. Do you have to seal the interior walls? Not necessarily, no. You don't have to. Can a bunkie be insulated? Yes. Roof, floor, easy. Do you have to stain? Yes, we do recommend you stain the bunkie within the first year, Tish. It says they're going to have 7 foster kids. Good for you, Joe. Wife and I live in an RV to make room for more kids. That's great. Want to add a bunkie for a bedroom? Yeah, that makes sense. Give up the house for the kids. Well, good for you. Insulating to keep it warm. Check out bunkylife.com. There's actually a whole, we can share it. But if you go to bunkylife.com, click on the frequently asked questions section, there's a whole page on insulating. So you can check a little bit more there. I'm not seeing any wires to run electricity. Where do the wires go in? So if you want, you can surface mount the wires on the internal side of the bunkie with conduit. That's what most people do. You probably might need an electrician to do that if you don't have a lot of experience. But definitely doable. The bunkie itself doesn't come with wiring. No toilet, shower, etc. Correct, Doug. Generally speaking, bunkies are just like an extra space. They're not usually like a full kitchen bathroom dynamic. Although people have added toilets, they've added showers. You'll definitely, if you follow us, you'll notice people have done that. But generally speaking, it's like an extra bunk house, like for bunks kind of thing. Any videos on insulating the floor and the roof? Yeah, totally. Check out our website and check out the frequently asked questions. Same with wiring. There's stuff about wiring, electricity as well. Insulating and heating for Canadian winters. Totally. Lots of people have done it. There are people that full-time live in their bunkies in Ontario, BC, all across Canada. It's not for the faint of heart. It's not really the way the bunkies are designed to do, but yes, it does happen. Great question, Heidi. Can the placement of the windows or doors be customized? The door, no. You can add doors sometimes. You can add windows for sure, but you can't move a window. If you're asking, like, can I have this window, but I just want it 3 inches to the right? That doesn't work. But adding a window, totally not a problem. Do the instructions include where to add insulation? Yeah, there are videos on how to do insulation. Yes. Can one install plumbing for water? Yes. Like I said, we sell the kit. People have added electrical plugs. They've added water. Just make sure you're complying with your local mafia. Usually when you add plumbing, you're straight into I need a permit in a lot of places. What part of Kentucky? We drove through. We went to the Louisville, Kentucky. We went to the Science Center. That's where we went, like downtown Louisville. Or Lowville, whatever. I don't know how you guys say that. People who don't live in Kentucky say Louisville. Really, really good for the kids. Loved that place. Could you add additional bunkies or put two together? Yes, that is doable with a little bit of carpentry work. How do the walls tie into the floor? So the walls sit on your substructure, and then the floor nails into your substructure. They're all kind of tied up that way. Airbnb for traveling nurses. Yep. I was going to call it the Nightingale Lodge. I like that. Yes, that is actually a pretty strong need. Florida especially. Okay. I've seen so many bunkies with pretty decks on them. Are any plans we can copy and paste? We don't sell deck plans, but you can, if you get on our so we have a private Facebook group just for Bunky Life clients, and there's lots of people sharing that type of thing. So how many square feet is this? Well, we've got a whole arrangement of bunkies from about 100 square feet all the way up to about 380 square feet if you count the loft. So it depends on the model, but they range. Actually, there's a bathroom bunkie that's like 6 by 6, but the rest of them are 100 to close to 400. Will I need a building permit? Mark, that is a great question. And unfortunately, I can't answer it for you. I don't know your background and where you're at. But you can make a few emails or calls to your local mafia and see if you will or won't. I'd say 85% of the time people don't need a permit, but sometimes they do. We have engineered stamped drawings if you need them to pass your local requirements. But a lot of times people just build them with no permit if their area doesn't require it. And so if they do, it's usually not the end of the world to get one. Does the directions include a parts list? Yes. So everybody who builds a bunkie has a big checklist. They got as they're unpackaging the bunkie, they got to check everything off. Yes, I got this. Yes, I got that, which will help you a lot as you're building because all the parts are here. I can make this work. So it includes all the dimensions, all the cuts, exactly, and all the parts are individually labeled. So in the corner there's a little sticker that says like B2, J3, so you can just check it off. Are the roof ties for high wind areas? We show you how to make those. Yes. For Hawaii, would you recommend a metal roof? Yes. I'm not going to make comments about what color. How thick? Okay. So you don't provide roofs for your bunkies. We just found, Joey, it was actually simpler to help our clients order it locally. It was cheaper and better. So we have a PDF of like, print this out, order your roof with a local supplier, and that's actually a better deal for you. So they come with the deck boards, but not the metal or the shingles or the thatch or whatever. Does the bunkie in the current contest have any windows in it at the moment? I'm not sure I understand the question, but the bunkie does include all the windows. The one we're giving away, yes. Are there any outlets built into the bunkies? No, there's no electricity. We're just telling you the kit. Oh, does the bunkie include ways to anchor to the ground? It's going on the top of a Colorado mountain. So you sort of, but there are the screws that anchor it in, but you need to make sure you build a foundation to anchor the bunkie into, if that makes sense. Do the inside walls require sealant? No. Although lots of people add like a stain or something. So for heating, is it okay to install a wood burning stove? Lots of folks do, and just make sure you're compliant, blah blah blah. But yeah, I've got one of my bunkies and it's awesome. How many boxes are in the delivery? Most of our models, like the Haven Ultra, for example, is just one big, huge skid. It's like 16 feet long, 4 feet tall, 4 feet wide, roughly. Some of our larger models are kind of packaged into 2 skids that are roughly 16 feet long each. So that's kind of, it's either 1 or 2 packages. How does the Bunky seal to protect against insects and spiders and bugs? So it seals quite well. The reality is it's still a cabin, so spiders and bugs will probably get in somehow, but not like it's the same as your house. If you're in the country, you know what I'm talking about. So they seal pretty good, and like it's not like you can feel the wind or like there's areas for them to crawl into, but you want to seal your corner, like around your floor for sure, and probably seal, like stain your Bunky. When you install the roof, whether metal shingles, do you install a ridge vent at the peak? You shouldn't. That should be built into your like actual metal profile, but you don't need to cut a hole in the Bunky itself. Okay, it's a longer one. My great grandfather homesteaded the property. Blah blah blah. My family has definitely grown into, and my brother and I are each married with 3 kids. The area gets heavy snow. What's the snow load capacity for the Bunky structure? Great question. So let's answer that first. So we do have northern Canadian snow loads. About 98% of North America, our stuff is over-engineered for. There's a few locations like up in mountains and stuff that you might need to add a little bit to get it up to code. But generally speaking, most of North America, we're good for snow. But email me if you want details, depending on which model you want, and email me what your town's requirements are. Second question, is the wood quality pre-treated to stand? So we sell you the kit itself, which is unstained spruce. It's made for northern climates, obviously, but you want to stain that in the first year with a good quality wood stain. What type of annual upkeep would you recommend? So just every 3 or 4 years, well, depending where you're at, every 3 to 5 years, reapply the stain, make sure it's in good shape, and then make sure you put a good roof on. If you put a metal roof on, lifetime roof, then the only thing is just make sure it's stained. What type of wood stove? I like cubic mini wood stoves out of Quebec, Canada. I also like tinywoodsstoves.com, I want to say, which is like a made in USA product. Yeah, so those are the 2 that I like the best because they're small, right? You don't need a huge, like a big wood stove is too much for a Bunky usually. So the smaller ones are better. Like this, the cubic mini wood stoves was originally like a boat, like a product made for boats, like small boats. And then it makes so much sense for Bunkies and our clients love them. A little more expensive, but good. Could you build Bunkies on stilts? Yes. I'm going to be able to show you some photos of that. Bear with me. I'm going to pull up the client map too, because I feel like I'm going to need that. Client map, on the map, client map, client map. Okay. Okay. While I'm doing that, okay, let's go to gallery. So you guys can see my screen here. Okay. So here's like if you click on gallery, there's a bunch of stuff like client photos and stuff. Here are some Bunkies on stilts. This one here is like not crazy stilts. This one here is really high, and I was actually staying in this Bunky a couple weeks ago. It's my parents' Bunky. This one is not my parents' Bunky, also on stilts. And there's a ton more that have come in, and we just have to update this page. But lots of cool stories there. Starting on stilts here. Anyway, you can scroll forever on this page. But yes, people have done it. Make sure you're being safe, though. Okay. You don't want like a rickety set of stilts, and then just don't yell at me. Here's a great question. Would you ever change your plans to make Bunkies more livable? Insulation, interior fit. Okay. So right now we love the fact that we get to sell a product that people can build themselves, and they can have pride of like, hey, we built that ourselves. So we love that aspect of what we do. We also love the aspect that a lot of times you don't need a permit. So we're not interacting with like the local building departments that much. So we have a really sweet gig here at Bunky Life. We love the people we serve. We love the product that we make. And so do we want to get into contracting? Not really. So it's not an immediate roadmap, is what I'll say, Joey. Would a 8,000 BTU extra be enough to cool a Bunky? Probably, Christine, depending on where you are, obviously. You want to do a little bit of math with that, but I've got one like that, and it rocks the Bunky like all summer. There's not a big space, right? So you don't need a ton of cooling. We have a ton of steel roofing and any instructions for finishing the roof with different materials. I'm not sure I understand the question, but there are instructions to do the roof, yes. All the 2-story units have a reduced no rating. No, that's not true. The 2-story units have a high snow load rating. Shushugi Bon under the Bunkies. Yes, check out Shushugi Bon in YouTube. There's a video of my wife burning a floor. Pretty cool. Definitely doable. And it looks great. Is anyone combine 2 or more? Yes, absolutely. Oops, sorry. A lot of people asking about that. Yes. Do you have any links to Bunkies? People monitor their Bunkies for to add bathroom kitchens? Probably, Christine. If you email me, I can send you a few ideas. Is a material list for the roofing supplied? Yes. Put 2 together. Make a double wide. 100%. Hello from the Ozarks. Hello. Do you recommend carpeting? I have not ever seen anyone use carpeting. You want to make sure that if you do, that your Bunky's sealed properly and it's not you're not trapping moisture down on the floor, right? How do they fare in hot climates? Really well. We've got lots of clients in Texas, some parts of Florida. So yeah, ton of people in California. So yeah, they do well. Oh, Louisiana. Yeah, totally. How long does it take from order to shipping? That is a great point. And let me, I'm going to tease this a little bit here. Okay, hold on for a sec. So the summer sale, which is not officially on yet, but if you want to get in on this action, you can. There's a few reasons I want you to do, if you're thinking about getting a buggy. Well, I think you should consider with me the possibility of, also if you comment sale, if you're on Facebook, I'll send you the details. But the reason I want you to consider this, because this is along the line. So, like I said, if you email me with the subject line sale, or if you're on Facebook, you can comment sale. I will send you the details. You can pre-order stuff right now for this fall, or even as late as next spring. And the reason why I want you to do that is because of this. Our production this year has been the greatest ever. We had our factory normally would be kind of slowing down-ish, and we're still going full tilt. We're going to go full tilt all right to the end of the year. So if you want to ensure you're going to get one for spring, I wouldn't delay. Like this year, there was a lot of people that waited until like March for a spring delivery, and it was just too late. We could not make it happen. So every year it gets a little bit crazier, especially in the spring. And so if you are thinking about getting one, and you are thinking about what the lead times are, they're a little bit unpredictable. Right now we're kind of booked in September, but in the spring it can be even a larger kind of wait time. So if it is something you're serious about doing, you can lock in the price and take delivery like next year. It's fine. Or we can make something happen this fall if you're interested. That was all I wanted to say about that. Okay. I'm in love with your Bunky. It's a great idea. It looks good quality too. Thank you. That's very kind, Eileen. Appreciate that. Okay. Yeah. Is this a USA contest? It is, Noreen. We've done many Canadian only contests, and this is our first USA contest. Are the cabins at Camp Maumee in Indiana your Bunkies? Look exactly yours? I don't know. Possibly. We have sold to a lot of camps and campgrounds. Steel roofing is quite inexpensive. Yeah, generally speaking it is, especially for a small Bunky. Okay. Right. These are great questions, everybody. If I missed any questions, my chat just kind of went, so sorry about that. Is there a delivery fee? Eileen, it depends on where you are. Best bet is if you could email us. We are kind of, we sometimes will have free shipping or subsidized shipping. It just really depends on where you are. So shoot me an email. You can email me at david@bunkylife.com, and I can give you like a specific idea of what it would cost to get to your backyard. What is my preferred foundation type? So it's a great question, Molly. Kind of depends on the area. I think you're in the UP, if I remember correctly. So it's very similar to Ontario. And I really like, put gravel down, put pads down if you've got a level area and it's well drained. If you don't, then sonotubes are the next best option. So you dig a little bit down, put a cylinder of concrete in the ground, and then put the Bunky on top of that. cylinder. Do you know off the top of your head if North Carolina needs any permits? Ashlyn asks. I don't, and it really depends on the county. So if you're in the rural areas, it's usually like, God's country, do what you want. If you're like right in a city, it depends on how anal your local city is. If you're in an HOA, good luck to you. So yeah, that's probably my thoughts. Here's a great question. Luke Slater asks, what state has bought the most bunkies? Well, let's find out by referring to the map, the client map, the map, the client map. This is the map. I can't click on any individual ones because it will show personal details. So I have to just kind of generally show probably Michigan. I mean, Michiganders are like our people, obviously, right? But it's really hard to tell from this client map. But we know, Ontario, obviously, that's our home. That's our hometown. But, Maine's getting up there. Hey, Maine representing. But it's hard to beat Michigan, and it's hard to know also, like, I can't click on these individual things because it'll show people's names, and it's private, obviously. But like, you got to count Michigan and the UP, right? Here's all the UPers up around here. So that's still one state. And then if you show California, it's pretty nuts out too. So like tons of people in California just because there's so many of you. Florida, obviously not as heavily represented. I love Florida, but we don't yet have hurricane ratings. We're working on that. I think when we get that, Florida's going to be hip hop happening. And we have somebody in Jacksonville. So this is not a complete map because I know someone in Jacksonville personally who has Bunky. Anyways, that's kind of a very non-answer to your question. But I wanted to show you the map, the client map. Okay. Are the wait times different for Canadian residents? Not really. We just kind of ship to everybody as soon as we can make it. What was the code to get info on the summer sale? If Joe, you're on Facebook, if you type in sale, it should, correct me if I'm wrong, it should message you the details. If anybody who's typed in sale, if that happened properly, let me know. Oh, you're Traverse City. You're right. Sorry, I was wrong. You're not in the UP. But yeah, Sandy, yeah, just use gravel, deck blocks. You're good to go. My soil's clay and the drainage is terrible. Ah, that sucks, Elsie. If you can, maybe consider sonotubes. Bunkies are made to order then. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like we try to. We try to get ahead, but we've never ever successfully gotten ahead for like 2 years. So we're not quite. We're trying to get ahead on inventory, but we have not successfully done that for a couple years. So they're kind of made to order, yeah. Does the delivery include offloading the skids? So we've got 2 versions of delivery, Mr. Parsons. So one is that a transport truck goes to your house and you can take it apart. Like you have 3 or 4 hours to take it apart. It usually takes half an hour. So take all the pieces off the truck. That's like the cheaper one. That's usually cheaper, free-ish, depending on your area. And then we've got one we call it white glove, which is like a truck comes up, it has a crane or a forklift, and we can offload it and like ideally put it where you want it, kind of thing. So there's 2 different versions of that. That's kind of the 2 different ways. So if you want to know more, just email me and I can give you like a direct quote of what the 2 options might look like for your location. This is a good question. In the Ozarks, we have a lot of hard rock not too far into the topsoil. Sounds like Ontario. So what would you recommend down? Digging slightly. Yeah, I would dig slightly, hooking down using a sonotube. So what you do is if you got that situation, carbide drill bit, you drill into the rock a little bit, you put rebar, and if you can epoxy it into the rock, and then you put a concrete form like a sonotube around that, and then concrete that. So now you've got it's pinned. It's called pinning it to the rock. So now everything's connected. Your concrete is connected to your rock. Never going to move on you. That is the best way to do that if you have the the time and ability to do that. It's not that crazy. Someone saying that's a fancy map. Yeah, well, it's the same map. It's actually the same map. I just instead of a screenshot, it's the actual map. The map, the client map. This is the map, the client map. Everyone is here in the client. No, not everyone. There's people that are not. There's people I know that have bunkies that are not on that map. Can you zoom in on Maryland? Let's do it. The map, the client map. It's also a slight geography lesson. Where's Maryland? I know it's somewhere up around here. Baltimore. Where? There we go. I know my geography. No. Yeah, there's some in Maryland. Looks like. There we go. The client map. Okay. I heard from some Canada's going to be the 51st state, so maybe can't. Yeah, you know. No comment. Zoom in on Indiana. Hold on. Okay. Zoom on Indiana. Okay, let me do that too. The map, the client map. I know where Indiana is because I was just there not that long ago. So there's Indiana. There's all the ones in Indiana. Okay. I don't know if anyone's seen Dora the Explorer, but that's what I'm going for right now. Anyone built a bunkie in northern Arizona? Let's find out by referring to the client map. The client map. The client map. Looks like north, not so much. Mostly around the center of the state. So that's kind of where so nothing near Las Vegas, ironically. Okay. Oklahoma. Okay. There's just gonna be like scrolling around the client map. It's fun for me. I don't think this is fun for everyone else. Okay. Oklahoma. Lots of folks in Oklahoma. There's the Oklahoma thing. Okay, cool. All right. No more client mapping. Okay. Client map. So Florida's not able to have them. Okay, Christine, we do have people in Florida that have them. It's just that generally speaking, if you're in a town, like any organized township, you need to usually they want you to get a hurricane rating, which we don't yet have. We will get one. It's on the to-do list. We're talking to people. It's just very expensive. So we're working on that. I think it'll pass the hurricane ratings, but we don't have the official like hurricane rating stamp, and Florida's pretty understandably so anal about getting that. So, people are saying it did. Okay, sweet. The sale thing is working. I'm in West Virginia. Would love one of these for a farm stand. Totally. Yeah, that would work great. Okay, cool. If there was a 20 by 20 with a loft, we don't have one yet. Yeah. Will the shipping process be high? Okay, we do have a wait list right now, Nuala, for Hawaii. So if you could email me, just say Hawaii in the subject line, and we'll put you on that list if you're something serious. We're trying to get enough orders together that it makes sense economically to go there. We have not yet shipped. I think our goal is next year we're going to ship to Hawaii. I shouldn't joke on your... It's all good. No worries. Florida can have them, but I'm sure most people are just concerned. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally. I mean, there are a lot of flying sheds in a hurricane. So let's be honest. I think it'll hold up better than a shed, but they're not a house, right? Okay. All right. Is Bunky taking investors? Currently, no. We are just a family-run business, and we're kind of keeping it in-house currently. I need someone to deliver and put it together. So, Daniel, if you need someone to install it for you, we've got kind of a growing list of contractors out there. So, depending where you are, we can make some recommendations, and then you could hire them. But honestly, it's really easy to find just handy-ish people in your local Facebook group or whatever, or Craigslist, and just find someone who or the handy brother-in-law or whatever. Because like you don't need to be a Red Seal carpenter to build these. You just need to be like have a couple tools and a little bit of time on your hands. So it's not crazy hard to find people to build them for you. And we have a whole way of helping people find them too, like some suggestions and stuff. Can you zoom in on North Carolina? Okay, one more time. The map, the client map, the client map, it's the client map, North Carolina, Greensboro, That's our current. I feel like we got way more. We sent so many more bunkies to North Carolina. I guess. Oh yeah, because it's going over here. That's what I was gonna say. So this is sort of our client map. So there you go. There's North Carolina. Okay. Can you show Albany? Okay. I'm enjoying myself doing this. I hope you guys are. Okay. There's New York. Where's New York? There's North. No, it's on New Brunswick. No, it's not New York. There we go. There's Long Island. There's Northern New York. Okay, and then we got Massachusetts. Why not? That's it. Massachusetts up there. Okay. Client map. St. Louis, Missouri. Why not? The map. The client map. I'm actually like pretty good at American geography here. I'm feeling good about that. I don't think there's anything right in I guess that's technically in St. Louis, right? Yeah. Cool. Are you hiring anyone in Kentucky? Not yet, but maybe. Indiana represent. Okay. Washingtonians. Are you Washington State or are you Washington? Like DC. I'm gonna go to Washington. We have a ton of people in. I feel like we have a ton of people in Washington, but hold on. There's BC. Yeah. So Washington State also probably. And there's a lot of folks in Portland and yeah. Anyways, any in Colorado? Why not? Let's do it. Where's Colorado? Gotta zoom right out. I know it's a big square. Where's that square? There it is. Okay, Colorado. Okay. How many around Alberta? Oh, so many in Alberta. How do I get access to one? Well, if you want to see a Bunky, let me illustrate that. Okay. So if you want to see, these are all human beings who have bought Bunkies. Usually they built them themselves, and they're cool. They're cool people. They're great people. But I don't want to send people who are just I just want to see a Bunky. Ideally you've talked to us, maybe you've done a virtual tour with us, and you know which model you want, and you're serious about it, and then we'll set you up with a client, right? Because we don't want to bug them for window shoppers. No offense. So that's kind of the process. If you want to see one of these stops on the client map, then email me. Let's talk. Let's make sure you're serious about it, and then I can. Most people are cool with showing their Bunky off, and they're excited to do that. But we want to kind of be sensitive to people's time, and also some people are private people, and so that's fine too. We would never share their information with you. We'd share your information with them, and they can decide if you're worthy. Yeah. Okay. You should make a real jingle for the client map. Yeah, totally. That's a pretty good idea, like a sound effect. Okay. All right. Can I get one built in the backyard of my mom's house? Probably. Okay. If you decided to build a manufacturing factory in Northwest Tennessee, you'd love to visit. We are seriously looking at manufacturing in the U.S., and Tennessee is in that area there's a lot of pluses there. Not necessarily Northwest Tennessee, but in Tennessee, yeah. Oh man, my nose is so itchy. Okay. Are there plans to build the base? Yes. Included in every kit, there is a foundation plan, a couple different options, and you can totally do it. Is the code word coming soon? You're right. Thank you, Stephanie Talpis. So the code word to enter into the contest to win the extra chances to win is flower. That's right. Flower. Okay. I've gotten to most of the questions, and I did the client map a lot. Okay. These are all great questions. I think I got to most of them. I could spend another 25 minutes singing the client map song, going through the client map, but I'm not going to do that tonight. But I will say this. Hey, if you want to come for an in-person tour, or a Zoom 3D tour, hold on, I'm going to fix this. That's not the right thing. Email me. So we do in-person tours, that type of thing. We do, if you're close to Ontario, but if not, we can do a kind of an online version of the tour. That would be something I'd recommend. And let's go back to the information about the sale and how to. Hold on. So once again, our hottest sale of the year. If you're at all interested in getting a Bunky this year or even next year, but locking the price in, what I suggest is comment sale if you're on Facebook, or just email me, david@bunkylife.com, with the subject sale. I'll give you all the details, and you'll get in before the actual sale starts. Because what happens is, the reason I would suggest doing this is everybody and their mom waits until the contest closes. They find out who the winner is. Oh, it's not me, and then they start thinking about, well, then they start asking questions, and by that time, our inbox is blowing up, and all of our calendar appointments are booked, and it's really hard to get back to people fast. So if you're smart, we're going to incentivize you. Like I said, email me, and there's an extra little perk, a little bonus if you email me before the contest actually closed. I'll talk about that more on Sunday, but that's the idea. Okay, let's talk about upcoming live streams before I close off. There are live streams. They're happening. They're going to be fun. And let me tell you more about them. So tonight we are wrapping up how to build. On Sunday, we're going to talk about what being a Bunky lifer is actually like. Maybe we'll have real Bunky lifers. Maybe we'll have like people that work for us. I don't know what we're going to do, but it's going to be fun. Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then next week, the following Monday, the most important live stream, why we do this. Tune into that. It's going to be great. And then, of course, we're drawing the winner live Wednesday, the 27th. That is a mere 13 days away. So don't miss out. We'll see you then. I didn't get to everybody's questions, so I'm gonna end the live stream, but I will try to comment the answers to everyone's questions. I didn't get to everybody. I apologize, but I do think we should try to keep it tight to less than, not too far. Okay, so we'll see you again in just a few days on Sunday night, and have a great evening. And thanks for taking the time to journey with me through the client map. The map was the client